Hey there everyone, Zach on zcastube, and this is my weekly vlog. And today I'll be doing something a little different. I'm not going to be talking about myself. Zach, you are so selfless and just fantastic. No, really though. Today I'm going to be talking about a book. I haven't finished it, and you figure, if you're going to do a book review, you probably want to know your subject matter pretty well. But I've been doing a little reading. I've had this book for maybe 7 or 8 months, and I really haven't read it, and that's a bad thing. But it is How to Win Friends and Influence People. There you go. You can see the title. It was written by Dale Carnegie, and it was published rather in 1936. Dale Carnegie, if you don't know, was a very successful businessman. He was, let me give you a background, I guess. Born in 1888, out of poverty. Actually, he wasn't born with a silver spoon or anything. He was broke, born in a farmhouse, and when he grew up, and he got into business a little bit, sales actually. And after he made $500, he said, "You know what? I'm done. I'm done with sales. I'm going to go be a speaker." He wanted to be a public speaker. He wanted to be a motivational speaker, and through all his education and everything, he would get stories about people who would have dealings with presidents, CEOs of companies, executives, just people that were obviously very good with handling people and really knew how to work a crowd, if you will. And I think that's something it's real cool. That's something that really everyone needs, and it's a self-improvement book. It was recommended to me by one of my friends, and he was like, "Yeah, you should take a look at this." And I don't know if he was like saying I needed to fix myself somehow, but it's a really good book. It focuses on how to make people like you. There's 6 principles that you go by, 1 in each chapter, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not that you need to make people like you, but it helps. It helps in everyday interactions, and it gives you a little information. So that's cool. 12 ways to win people over to your way of thinking. So, in business or something, if you have a specific idea you want to pitch, you tend to want to get them to agree, so they'll buy into it, I guess. I mean, it's not saying that Zach, you're just trying to make us read this book so so we can screw up our lives and people won't like us. No, no, I'm not. This book, like I said, it was published in 1936, and it's still popular today. And I think that's the best thing about it is it's so old, but the principles they stay the same. People are still the same, given our clothes have changed, the way we act have changed, but we're still all human, really. So it's something you can look at. You can buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I will link the Amazon description in the below area down there. And finally, the third part is how to change people. And you don't want to change people just to change people. You want to change people in a positive way. And it's how to change 9 ways to change people without arousing resentment. You don't want them to, be pissed off that you're, doing something, that you're making them do something that they don't particularly want to do. You want to make them do it in a positive way, not like, "Hey, you need to change. You suck." It's not the way. It's not how the book goes. I haven't gotten there, by the way. So, if you are resenting me now, you gotta read the book. I have to read the book, not you. I have to. But and the first section actually, and I'll give you tidbits so you guys can kind of get a grasp on what the book is about. And for every chapter, or not chapter. Yeah, for every chapter. That's right, for every chapter. For every chapter there's a principle, and pretty much what the book says, how to get the most out of this book, is you read the chapter and read the principle. Then you scan through the chapter, so you get kind of pick up the things that you might have missed, or recap a little bit on far as the stories and how they kind of back up that principle. And so you get a good grasp on, okay, so this is why this principle makes sense and why I should apply it. So the first is fundamental techniques in handling people. And you're not handling people to force them to do something. Handling people in a responsible way, in a kind way, I guess. Does that make sense? You're handling people like you would handle a situation. So if that helps. And the first chapter's principle is Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. And it's talking about people, and the complaining is kind of like your situations and your issues. Because you have to think there's people that are a lot worse off in life than you are, and complaining about, oh well, this sucks, I gotta go do this. There's people that can't do that or wish they could do that rather than being in where they're at. So I mean that's kind of, and there's three chapters, 3 principles for fundamental techniques on handling people, and then 6 ways to make people like you. And why would you need to make people make people like you? Don't you want people to be like, yeah, well I like you because you're cool. So yeah, and 6 ways to make people like you. And the first chapter, I know it's horrible, I'm looking down. People like people for certain reasons. You don't want people to like you just because you have money or something like that. So Principle 1, first chapter, Principle 1, 6 ways to make people like you. Become genuinely interested in people. And obviously, I mean, if you want to make friends and you want to be good with people, you have to be interested in them. You have to want to get to know them and be more connected to them. So if you're genuinely interested, it puts off a very good vibe, and people want to be interested in you. So, and that is see, I'm right here. So I'm not even close to done. So, but I think it's cool. This is a good book. It's just I really don't get to read it. All right. So we're moving on to part 3. Part 3: how to win people over to your way of thinking. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that the principle for chapter 1 is the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Now, you probably say to yourself, well, Zach, obviously, if you don't want to be in an argument, you wouldn't start it in the first place. Well, it's not your fault. It really isn't. I mean, why would it be your fault if you get in an argument? So, I'm just saying. Gosh, these chapters are long. But, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And you're probably like, well, why would I want to read a book if I already know that? It gives you the tools. It gives you an idea of what examples of it, examples of how it could be used properly, and you don't want to force people to think the way you think, but yeah. And finally, 9 ways to change people without arousing resentment. Arousing? No, really. And the arousing is in this book 10 times, and one of my it's actually one of the principles in the first chapter, in the first part, and I read it to my buddy because it has you do bets, have your buddy bet you $3, because you try to apply the principles to your life, and I did it for 25 cents because I'm not gonna lose. I'm not about to lose like $5 to my friend every time I complain. So yeah, I did a quarter each time, and by the end of the first week, I owed him about $10. So it was it was pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, 9 ways. It actually says, be a leader. How to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. And come on, really? I skipped a chapter, my bad. It's a really short chapter then. Okay. First principle is begin with praise and honest appreciation. Makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you guys? So, I'm not telling you to buy this book. I'm really not. I'm actually, I'm asking if you look at it, because I'm not getting any royalties from Dale Carnegie or his family or anything. So, it's worth it. It's worth checking out, because you can go check it out at Barnes & Noble and just sit there, read the first chapter. If you find nothing, if you find nothing interesting about any of this, then you've probably been watching too long, because I'm about to wrap it up. So, but yeah, you should really look into it. Just look into it. See if you go to Barnes & Noble, ebook it, Amazon down below. Amazon's not paying me either. It's just Amazon seems like very widely used, and people like it, I guess. That's about it. But yeah. And I'm just gonna go ahead and end with a quote, Dale Carnegie's quote, and I'm sure he has like a million quotes, but I thought this one was kind of cool, and it has a nice ring to it. I think it goes against like against what my last vlog said. So the quote is, success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. And wow, does that not just oppose everything I had said? Like, oh, I'm pissed off because I'm not on the same level with everybody else. You know what? And I kind of realized it. Like, yeah, you know what? My life is pretty good. I love my family. I have a good job, and I work real hard. So, and that makes me happy. And I don't see why you wouldn't be happy. I mean, why not? So, success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. So, life is, there's a lot in life to enjoy, and why not start with the things you have? This is Zach on zcastube, signing out.